Welcome back to Inside College Basketball Now with Jon Rothstein here on CBS Sports Network. The second big thing I want to get to today revolves around a couple of Big 12 storylines. And the first is Armageddon lies ahead for Houston. Now, Houston is in position to be a number one seed in the NCAA tournament for the fourth straight year under Kelvin Sampson. But over the next 7 days, Houston has, in my opinion, the craziest 7-day stretch that we have in the 25-26 college basketball season. Tonight, the Cougars will be in Ames at Hilton Coliseum to take on Iowa State, a team that easily beat Kansas on Saturday. Then Houston is going to come home to the Fertitta Center over the weekend, host Arizona, and then a 2-day turnaround to take on Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. This is, again, in my opinion, the craziest 7-day stretch that any team has this season. Now, with that said, in addition to the quest to be a number one seed in the NCAA tournament, Houston is also going for its third straight Big 12 regular season title under Kelvin Sampson. Since Houston joined the conference under Kelvin Sampson, Houston is an unfathomable 45-5 in Big 12 regular season games. But one of the things you learn when you eat, drink, and sleep college basketball is if you want to go to the Final Four, you need to have things aligned perfectly. And I tell this story all the time. In 2008, I was doing an event at the Final Four in San Antonio with Denny Crum, former Louisville coach. And I asked him what were some of the keys to going to the Final Four and winning national championships. And he told me, number one, you have to be lucky. The second thing, you can't be unlucky. And for Houston this year, the Cougars are playing for something of greater significance, in my opinion, than past years, and that is a major geographical advantage in the NCAA tournament. That's because Houston, and I've talked about this in the past, and I'm going to continue to talk about it, but Houston, if it becomes a 1 seed, will be in the South region, and the regionals this year for the South region are at the Toyota Center in downtown Houston. Houston was supposed to be the host school in the South region. And after the Cougars had to go to Indianapolis and play Purdue last year in the Sweet 16, Eddie Nunez, the AD for Houston, made the decision to forfeit the right to be the host school in the South region. And now another school has taken over, and now the Cougars are eligible to play in a situation where they could play in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 at the Toyota Center in downtown Houston. Now, why is this so important in my opinion? I think geography matters at the highest level in the NCAA tournament. Now, certain coaches can make arguments that it's better to go to the opposite way. UConn under Jim Calhoun went to the Final Four 4 times. In 99, 2004, 2001, and also 2009, UConn 4 times came out of the West region. Jay Wright had said at Villanova multiple times that Villanova, when it went to the Final Four in 2016, was better getting out of Philadelphia and going to Louisville. But you look at the other times Villanova went to a Final Four. In 2009, it was out of Boston, and in 2018, it was out of Boston. So there's arguments to be made for both sides. I look back when Syracuse won a national title, and I look back when Syracuse beat, ironically enough, Kelvin Sampson in Oklahoma in 2003 in Albany, and I felt that made all the difference. That was when I was starting to do this on this beat. Syracuse that year was Boston to Albany to the Final Four in New Orleans. It matters. And in my opinion, if you're looking at things right now for Houston, who as of today has 7 quad 1 victories, this 3-game stretch will determine whether or not the Cougars, who again could add more wins in the Big 12 tournament, but this 3-game stretch will determine, in my opinion, whether or not the Cougars will be a 1 seed on Selection Sunday. Houston, after the 3-game stretch that I just talked about, finishes the regular season with Colorado at home, with Baylor at home, and then a road game at Oklahoma State. And that game's on CBS on March the 7th. I would be very, very surprised if Houston lost any of those 3 final games. Now, Oklahoma State's a team on the bubble. They're going to be very desperate, but I would be surprised if Houston lost any of those games. So now, if we're looking at things from a 1-seed perspective, Michigan is clearly in position. I'm going to get to the Wolverines in the next segment. Michigan is clearly in position to be the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Despite a couple of losses, Arizona is still in position. And then there's Duke and there's UConn. And now it feels like the 4-5 seeds in the NCAA tournament, the teams who are going for the 4th number 1 seed, is going to be UConn and Houston. And Houston can obviously change that dynamic coming up here over the next 7 days. Again, one more time, at Iowa State, home against Arizona, and then obviously Fog Allen Fieldhouse a week from Monday night. Cougars going for their 4th straight number 1 seed under Kelvin Sampson. Houston's 2 losses at Texas Tech and Tennessee on a neutral court.